Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, as he does regularly every other Monday, Tom Knighton. I call Tom the attitude behind Bearing Arms. You don't even have to read the headline, the byline of who wrote the story. Read Bearing Arms. If the story's got a bunch of attitude behind it, you know Tom wrote it. Tom, thanks for coming along on the ride today, man.
Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right. Lots of things to get to today. As usual, lately, I got something I want to talk about right off the bat, coming from the home offices in Bellevue, Washington. Announced just a few hours ago, and I'm just going to read straight from the press release. The Second Amendment Foundation, a pioneer and national leader in defense of the right to keep and bear arms, today announced that attorney and experienced Second Amendment litigator Adam Kraut has been named its executive director. Kraut brings almost a decade of experience in Second Amendment realm as a litigator and educator. Throughout his career, he has represented individuals, companies, and individual plaintiffs in state and federal litigation and regulatory matters. In addition to his legal background, Kraut draws management experience from his time in the nonprofit world, where he was responsible for overseeing the programmatic functions of a liberty-based nonprofit which concentrated on Second Amendment issues. He also managed an FFL. Kraut comes with a variety of media experience, having written for publications such as Recoil Magazine, Recoil Web, and other online publications, writing and hosting a YouTube series, and appearing as a guest on multiple podcasts and appearing on television. We're delighted to have Adam coming aboard at a time when our legal activities are greatly expanded, said Alan Gottlieb. He brings a wealth of experience to the position at a critical time when we are challenging an array of restrictive gun control laws that clearly have restrained peaceable, law-abiding citizens while accomplishing nothing in the effort to reduce violent crime. Just a couple paragraphs left. Adam has been an SAF Life member since 2013, Gottlieb added. He has a keen understanding of our mission, our history, and our effort to win firearms freedom one lawsuit at a time. We are proud to bring him aboard to fill an important role as we ramp up our fight to restore and expand the Second Amendment as the cornerstone of our Constitution. I am eager to continue SAF's legacy of innovation and excellence in the legal, educational, and public arenas, Kraut said. For the better part of half a century, Alan has built SAF into an organization which took a unique vision and made it a reality. I look forward to working closely with him to shepherd the organization forward. We will continue to create the foundation for the next series of cases we hope to take to the Supreme Court to ensure the right to keep and bear arms is restored to its original meaning. At the same time, we will work to guarantee SAF's longevity by bringing the next generation of gun owners into the fold. Huge announcement today. For those of you who know who Adam Kraut is, this is a big stinking deal. Another person that I am proud to call a colleague and co-worker now at SAF. That's huge news, and I'm exceedingly pleased to say that Adam's going to be with us. I just jumped right into it. I hadn't even got, and I'm still hooking up social media posts for the day. Let me see, and I do want to mention, if you are watching live, you can comment on anything we talk about. If you're watching on Polite Society podcasts, Facebook or YouTube feeds, just comment on the video. Anywhere else, if you're watching on OpsLens or anywhere else that picks us up, go ahead and go to Twitter, tweet with the hashtag #TheBullet. We'll get your comments, we'll put them on the air. Tom, any thoughts about Adam Kraut coming aboard with SAF?
I think it, like you said, it's big news, and it's really, I think, a good move considering everything that's happening, everything that's going to happen post Bruin. Because when you had to pick and choose which cases, it was like, well, which ones can we win? Case can be all trouble. Bruin kind of set the stage, and Second Amendment Foundation. That's what you guys do. You file lawsuits. You need all the help you can get.
Yeah. And Adam, extremely smart person. I really, I've interacted with him. He speaks almost every year at GRPC, and he's spoken at AmCon a few times. And back before I became an SAF employee, I interacted with him quite a bit when we both had a contact with Firearms Policy Coalition, and I can't be more impressed. You could have told me Ted Nugent were coming on board with SAF, and I wouldn't be any more impressed than I am right now. Matter of fact, Ted Nugent wouldn't be as big a move, because Ted Nugent's polarizing. Adam Kraut isn't.
And really, Adam brings something to the table. Second Amendment Foundation can use. That's part of it. Ted Nugent comes on, like you said, not only is he polarizing, but he's also, everyone will know he's just there for the name. The name to it. And the movie need right.
Another thing Adam Kraut brings that is huge is youth. The guy, I don't know if he's 40 yet. A lot of people at SAF are kind of like me. We're north side of 50, and I'm one of the younger ones. So I'm glad to see that.
Right as young.
Yeah, I'm glad to see.
Definition, I make it.
That energy coming about. So
yeah, that's always good news. That somebody can carry the standard forward for a long time.
Yes. Got several stories that are hardcore Second Amendment news stories that I want to talk about today. There are three of them that were written by this guy I know named Tom Knighton. First one you popped off. This one hit this morning at 6:30 a.m. my time, or 8:30 a.m. my time. I'm sorry. Apparently there was a editorial over at NJ.com you kind of took issue with. You want to talk a little bit about that one, man?
Well, there were just some minor problems with it. For example, they've got just about every fact wrong. Talking about New Jersey's proposed new gun control law, and they're like, we really need some we need to transition easily and intelligently, and screaming about, oh my God, there are 300,000 people who've applied for permits. What are all this many more guns in towns? Which the fact is, those people already own guns. These aren't. Yeah. It's a permit to purchase. It's a carry permit. There's no more guns going to be in Trenton and Newark, Patterson. That was the other city they named. They don't seem to understand. You do not need to have a permit to carry a gun in order to buy a firearm.
Right.
And then there's the fact that we know guns actually do make people safer. More citizens carrying means more potential people to stop violent crime. Even if it's just to protect their rights, who cares? Good guys with guns beat bad guy with guns.
And even if you totally stop issuing permits, you're going to get what you've got now in New Jersey, which is a cesspool. Because criminals are not going to stop carrying because they cannot get a permit. They're criminals.
No. And something else they brought up was that there's a proposed insurance requirement. And they're like, well, this has been upheld in courts in other states. No, it really hadn't. It's been in court once because only one area has been done enough to this. That was said. The San Jose requirement to have a gun in the home, and so for your homeowner's insurance policy actually meets the requirement. Having to have an insurance in order to carry a firearm is a completely different standard. It's something that doesn't exist anywhere in the wild. And the judge in that case actually looked at it and said, well, I kind of want to strike down the insurance requirement and keep the fee, or keep the licensing fee. So even there, the judge said, "Nah, this is going too far."
Yeah,
it's kind of impressive. It was the story they linked to that said that. I didn't have to dig anywhere else. I clicked their link.
They made it easy for you.
Oh, it was almost as bad as 2 weeks ago when I was here. We had who was quote expert saying correlation doesn't equal causation. Then we probably went into a correlation.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a different.
And you're freezing up pretty bad, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Let's do this. Let's move on to the next story we got, and this one again hit the same time. You typed fast, man. You had two stories hit simultaneously. This one, Indiana man indicted for 27 straw purchases, and you bring up in the story that and you tie it into Chicago saying, well, Indiana's gun laws are why Chicago has a gun problem. And then you point out in the story that, well, there's a case where a guy in Chicago had a Illinois FOID card and was, up until the point he gave the guns away, was following Illinois law and did 27 straw purchases as well. So...
And that's what it's the exact same number of straw purchases. That really kind of what stuck in my mind. I was like, wait, did I write about this story before? Because I think I wrote about that like last week or over the weekend. But yeah, it was, I looked at that, and I pulled up the archives, and yeah, it was a story, but it was Chicago. Now, first of all, let's also remember that, all the blaming of Indiana.
And he froze up again. Let's wait for just a few seconds to see if he unfreezes. Tom, are you unfrozen yet? All right, I'm going to... Nope, he's gone. He dropped. Whoops. He dropped. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this up here. I'll watch and wait to see if Tom reconnects. Wait, I think he's back. There we go.
Yes.
And he promptly goes into another freeze up. I guess Tom, let's Chicago's problem with guns is not the ability to get firearms. Chicago's problem with firearms is they keep letting the criminal element out where they can do bad things with firearms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's also remember this is the same city where a gang of people showed up at a house, started shooting at the people in the house. People in the house shot back. Two different gangs, right? They're shooting at each other. The district did not trust anybody citing mutual combat. Now, I get people are not going to prosecute them even if the person shouldn't have been armed. I could at least understand the law. Hey, they were just defending themselves. But the guy to start the gunfight or also considered, that's mutual combat. Combat applies to like a couple of guys slugging it in a parking lot.
Yeah,
But
my understanding of the mutual combat is if you agree to get into a boxing match with somebody and you both step into a ring, one cannot press assault charges against the other one that got into the boxing ring with them because you agreed beforehand that was going to be what happened. And not for two gangs that meet up at a house and start shooting the neighborhood up.
yeah, it's like telling me that a gang shows up here, decides to shoot me because they don't like me for whatever reason. They don't like something I wrote, and I shoot back at them. That, oh well, they can't be prosecuted because it's mutual combat. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
When you've got prosecutors who will make that determination, that's the problem you have in Chicago. Not in
Amen.
Indiana.
I think Robert over on the YouTube side knows what the issue is with your internet. Phil Murphy is hacking him, is what Robert thinks.
I rule nothing out.
Have you angered anybody at AFT lately?
Yeah, maybe. I tend to torque a lot of people off every day. So.
All right. Next one I want to talk about, and it ties into another story I've got in show notes. One that hit at 5:30 yesterday afternoon. Is your title for it is "Don't Defend Gun Buybacks with Nonsense." That you want to talk about that one a little bit, and then I want to get to a story about a gun buyback.
Sure. It was an interesting piece, and I think it was the Philadelphia Inquirer that had it. It was a pro and con about gun buybacks.
Right.
It starts off with somebody commenting about how it don't work. We've got studies that don't work, and it's just a waste of time, money, and resources. So let's utilize that other way. Guy who is sitting here going, well, the problem is that, those studies show that, but they weren't looking at data-driven gun buybacks, and we're going to do this data-driven type, and we're going to find out, we're going to offer money that's just a little below market value for black market guns to rich people, blah, blah, blah. First of all, there's no data-driven gun buybacks because there's no data to show how they work. They don't work. His ideas were idiotic because he gave a list of examples of times when someone may be willing to sell in a buyback. It included things like, they're about to be evicted, they're, got kids to take, they have multiple guns, all these things. And I just pour them apart one because all these are, there are challenges that any of us could face, but they're dependent on needing money at the exact time that a gun buyback is taking place.
Right.
That's really, in the best case scenario, that position where selling that gun makes more sense than anything else. And one of them, well, maybe they have more than one gun. So you still have an armed thug running around the streets. Great job.
There were two of them that I thought were particularly funny. One, they need bail money. And how they're supposed to get out of jail to go turn this gun in to get money to get back into jail to throw the money to get out of jail.
Right. I pointed that out. Are you nuts? They're in jail. They got out to sell a gun to pay bail. It's not. I mean, so much of this is a guy who wants to find a solution. And I really believe this is somebody who was, I remember right, paralyzed from being shot. So I get that he wants to address the violent crime issue. The problem is you cannot just make up stuff and insist it'll work. His sole defense had to be, well, yeah, guns don't, but I know how it can work. I'm the only person on the planet figured out that if you pay more, you'll get the gun. What you're going to do is you're going to get something like the dude in New York who printed up a bunch of these guns and got made like 21 grand.
I think it was 27 grand. Yeah.
You, sir.
Yeah.
Either way, I salute you, sir. Good job.
The second one,
people like that.
his second example that I found funny, and funny as in absurd, because it actually happens. I'm fairly certain of this. It's a stolen gun. I'm pretty sure that happens already, especially in the no questions asked gun buybacks. It's probably not only stolen, it may have been used in recent crimes, and they just want to get rid of the evidence.
Right. Right. It's, if you need to dump a gun, you can dump her. Someone might see you and connect the fact that you dumped a gun. Or you can take it to a no questions asked buyback, get some money for it. And basically what he's doing in this case is, congratulations, sir, you've now used taxpayer money to create a fencing service.
Yep.
That's exactly what he's suggesting. Is because people, if they know that they can turn in stolen guns for cash regularly, and they're going to pay more. Remember, he wants to get it just below black market price. The gun thieves are not going to stop stealing guns. They're just going to say, well, this batch, I'll just take there because then I get less heat. I don't have another cop catching me.
If I heard you right,
encourage people to steal.
If I heard you right, he wants it just below black market value. So why would you not then just take the little more money? You're already a criminal. Keep the little more money and keep it on the black market where you may come around. You may need another one again. It may come back to you.
A lot of people will.
Yeah.
And it's you've got to, if you want to incentivize people to at least sell them to the buyback, you've got to go above value. Even if it's just a little bit above value, they've got to come out ahead. And the only way that they're really going to sell them is if they feel heat. If they're worried that the guy that they've been selling guns is an undercover cop, sell it to the buyback instead. It's safer.
We've got a comment here, and we're still having connection issues, Tom. Mike on the YouTube side says you're still freezing and breaking up really bad. And I can understand you, but I can understand. I believe when it gets through my software and out to YouTube and other places, it may be exacerbating it a little bit. And then Gun Websites over on the YouTube side says, Mike brought up a good point last week. Gun buybacks create incentive for people to steal junk guns and get bounty on them from the police. Yeah, yeah, like you said, Ty, it's a fencing operation is really what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's found a way to legalize and not like swishy pokies with swords.
And to bring up...
go ahead.
To bring up the story I had... Oh, no, there we go. This is off ABC7news.com. This is out of the Bay Area. Santa Rosa, California, in the North Bay, a gun buyback event in Santa Rosa saw a big turnout Saturday as hundreds of people swapped their firearms for cash. Santa Rosa's first ever gun buyback event drew more than a crowd. It was a traffic jam. Let me scroll down here a little bit. No questions asked. Police officers swapped rifles and handguns for $200, automatic weapons and ghost guns with no serial numbers were swapped for $300. See here, and a total of $75,000 was raised by Santa Rosa's Police Foundation and Community Engagement Department for this event, but the cash was going fast We've gone through 20 grand in the first half hour, said one organizer.
I want to bet one of those was a guy with a whole bunch of ghost guns.
You know what? No bet. If
I
they're
hope
smart, they're gonna
hope so.
find the worst pieces of junk in their safe that do not operate, that it would cost more money than they ever will be worth to bring them back into safe condition. They'll take those down like the good people do at Guns Save Lives up in Illinois, when Illinois has them occasionally. Or somebody with and we talked about this last week, somebody with a 3D printer down in the Santa Rosa area just cranked out a bunch. And I do know when we talked about this last week, there was a limit of 3 per category. You could turn in 3 handguns, you could turn in 3 automatic weapons, whether those be, I think they were meaning semi-automatics, and 3 ghost guns.
That, in which case, somebody and a bunch of their friends.
Yeah.
They do that.
Dude, I'll give you a 6-pack of beer if you'll take these down there and give me the cash. Yeah.
Yeah. Or everyone kicked in and it's like, we're going to take all this money and we're going to buy us a yacht.
I don't know how much a yacht you're going to get for 75 grand, but okay.
Well, then again, it's a place where people, gun buybacks work. So you might find someone dumb enough to actually sell one from that.
Yeah.
They actually, in the piece itself, it actually brings up that the study saying that, gun buybacks don't work. And for the record, that study is not the first to say it. There have been studies since the 70s saying it. But it brought it up, and then other people were like, well, but if it saves one life, I hate that. I absolutely hate that reasoning. Because first, you'll never know it saved a life. 99 times out of 100, at least. And I'm lowballing here.
Yeah.
It never saves a single life. These guns, people say, well, these were my grandfather's guns, and now we can get rid of them and give the money to mom. Actual example. That's not me hypothetical. That's one that's in the story.
Yes, it is.
And it's like, congratulations, you've accomplished. Waste that could vary numerous programs.
You're breaking up again, Tom, but I want to get this comment in. What about the little old lady who trades in her husband's collector pieces for $200 to $300? What happens to those? Somebody's pocket? It's been a few years ago, but in an LA buyback, there was an old lady who turned in her dead husband's Sturmgewehr that he brought home from World War II. He brought it home legally. We're talking a $40,000 piece, and it got turned in a buyback and supposedly destroyed. A very historical piece of equipment that just because of anti-gun policies is gone.
And it was also one of the most tightly controlled categories of gun.
Yes.
If you believe control is the answer, auto weapons should not be an issue. They are the most tightly controlled category of firearms.
Yes.
It just shows that there's guns icky.
Well, and Jack says they're destroyed. Yeah, right. I'm kind of leaning towards they probably are.
They're probably, because there's such security over it. If it's not, it's in the police department armory.
Yeah.
Well, department laid claim to it versus an individual cop.
With connection problems and all, we made it through a half an hour, man. We're at the bottom of the hour. if we could, I want you to. Sorry, I had to reach over and turn off my big speaker over there. I want you to, while we got a few seconds here, plug your Substack, because I read that daily. It's good stuff. Also, what do you got coming up on Bearing Arms?
Well, I've got one on Bearing Arms about this gun buyback. Rosa might have heard of it. I actually am going to be writing about that in the morning.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting.
And he froze again. Oh, this is annoying. Wow, there we go.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
I was about to plug your Substack. That's at tomknighton.substack.com. It's called Tilting at Windmills. Check it out. There's a free version, and then there's premium, $5 a month or $55 a year. I need the money.
Well, and the premium version, he gets into a lot of stuff other than guns. If you want to see what Tom Knighton's warped mind comes up with when it's not focusing on guns and gun rights, it's worth your $5. Trust me.
Same amount of attitude.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just directed. It's directed at somebody other than gun control fans.
Well, they're probably gun control fans as well, but it's the same group of people. It's just you're not talking gun control at that time. Anyway, let's. I gotta drive. I gotta do in 28 minutes now. I gotta do Polite Society. We gotta get out of here. Tom, again, thanks for joining us today, man.
Anytime. Hopefully with better connections.
Yes, absolutely. All right, folks, please keep joining me 5 p.m. Central Time all this week. We'll talk about the news of the day. And for right now, I got to get out of here. Come join me in 30 minutes right here again for Polite Society. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.